Man, I got I know my viewers out there are probably like, you have your mom on the show and you haven't asked a single question about the name of the band, but
My
believe me,
my coworkers were bringing this up earlier. I said we're going to get interviewed. They went, they're only going to ask questions about the name of the
no,
band. So
I would never.
really,
It's
I'm really happy you haven't asked anything about it.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't ever ask the elephant in the room questions sometimes until later on, because it's just not how I work, right? Like, having somebody who's written for Taylor Swift, you'd think the whole hour would be about Taylor Swift. It was like 2 minutes. Like, I don't like to ask what everybody else asks. So, but yeah, I won't lie. Like, my family and I are getting a kick out of your band name, and I was telling my wife earlier. I said your mom's drummer is stuck in traffic. You know what I mean? And, so it's just like, little LOLs at the end of that. So there had to be a lot of chuckling and shit like that when you guys finally settled on this name, right? Because I imagine, like, the venues are like, we booked your mom, or your mom is opening the show, and they're all like, elbowing each other. So you got to get a kick out of this shit, right?
Yeah, I think at least so for me. So the way we talked to these kids yesterday. Maura told the story of how we came up with the band name. It was incorrect. There were a lot of inconsistencies. The historical record was muddy, but kind of the way it happened is we had a bunch of really terrible names leading up to a house show. We had like 4 bad names. They're not even worth repeating. One of them was the Grassroots. That is a band that exists from the 60s. Mm-hmm. Like we just it was messed up.
A huge band too, by the way.
Yeah. It's the guy from The Office, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was on my way to the gig from school, and I show up. It's this house party, and the drum set's set up. And I open the door, and it says "Your Mom" on the bass on the kick drum. And Maura's there, and I'm like, "What's the deal with that?" And she goes, "That's our name for tonight." And I go, "Okay, we're gonna change that, right?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, but I thought it'd be funny for tonight that's our name." I was like, "Okay." And so we played that show, and then going forward, bring new names. We all kind of bring new stuff in and can't settle on it. Year passes, more new names. No one can settle on anything.
Well, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
The way it happened, and for me, I kind of resented it for a while. I think I took myself too seriously for a while, and so I think it kind of bothered me, but it's come around, and I think I really enjoy it. I think it attracts the right people. I don't think
absolutely. It's great stuff. It's very searchable. The web page is We Are Your Mom, which I love. That's your ats everywhere too. The social media tagging, which it's brilliant, man. I love it. Like, you're gonna get people talking about you whether you're good or not, right?
we sell at the shows. To sell the T-shirts, I say, like, even if you don't like us, who doesn't want a T-shirt that says your mom?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The merchandising opportunities are endless. Absolutely endless.
In the chamber.
We got patents.
Yeah. Property of your mom.
Yeah. Your mom established 2023. I'll ask for my cut later. Anyway. Man, I'd love to hear you guys talk about your live shows and what they're like, because I know a lot of rock bands and stuff like that, they do an hour set and or a 2-hour set, and there's 4 other bands or 6 other bands part of a show. I don't know how yours looks like. Also, I'd love to hear y'all talk about kind of your set list, how you guys decide that, what covers do you do, how you decide on what covers to do. Is it 50-50 covers, originals, all of that stuff? Talk about that a little bit.
We really don't do any covers.
Love that.
Unless we have to.
Yeah, it's like if it's necessary. If we get booked for like an hour and a half show, we don't want to play our old music that much. So a lot of times we'd rather pull a cover than play like a 4-year-old song. So if we get booked for something like that, we'll pull out a couple covers. It's usually like.
But we don't go out of our way to book gigs like that. It's if they want like a 2-hour cover band, and if we really need the money, we have done that before, but it's not something we go out of our way to do. We like to play shows that with other bands that write original music and stuff like that.
Is there a huge reception for that in your local area, whether it's the suburb or Chicago, whatever it is? It's more original versus cover in that area?
I find no one wants to hear covers in
I
Chicago.
love that. I wish I'd lived there.
Yeah, it's not. So that's something that I noticed when we were in Nashville. It's like,
well, Nashville is different. It's all covers.
It's a different thing. Like, there's no real market, at least in the places that we play in Chicago, for like covers. It'll be something where maybe, it's kind of an homage to something, or it's like a part of the story of the band, or that's when I'll hear covers. But there's no bills we play like in the city at like a venue like the Subterranean where, there's a band playing half covers or anything, which is nice. Which is also good because we don't really like doing that. So it's nice that we don't have to. Yeah. Mm.
So is that how you guys are typically booking it? Is like 1 hour sets with other bands as part of the bill?
It's usually like 45-minute sets, 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With like 4 other bands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I live in East Texas, and here, like, original music is so stifled here. It's like all the venues here want cover music, and I'm a big proponent of, if I want to hear cover music, I have YouTube at home.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I not just stay home and listen to the original of that song? Like, why would I go out and into a bar room or a restaurant or a venue and listen to somebody's version of that song?
Or put on the live version of the song.
Right.
Exactly.
And on the other side, the flip side of that, though, like a lot of bands and original or singer-songwriter types as well, they'll put their spin on cover songs. And I'm cool with that, right? Like having a cover song where maybe you're halfway through the song before you even identify what song it is. Now, that is cool. But, like, if you're just trying to mimic the song, like, what are you really doing? Like, you're not doing yourself any service unless you just have no desire to be original, which is weird as a musician to me. Like, I don't understand that. I'm not a musician, but I'm a creative person. So, like, I wouldn't, if I'm painting a painting, I'm not going to try to make a better version of the Mona Lisa. That's ridiculous, right? So,
right. And I think I at least feel like kind of dirty when I do it, or like kind of weird, like you're saying, because this is someone else's art and they've already done it they've done it perfectly. They did it the way they did. And anything I do is a kind of pale imitation. And for me, I get a lot of cover gigs. I do like side work, and I play in hodgepodge cover bands over the summer and stuff. And like nothing makes me, I'm happy to get the money. Please, if anyone sees this, keep hiring me. But it's like nothing makes me like my soul drain more than playing like the 2.5 hours of Blink 182 covers for like a bar full of like drunk,
Yeah, it's essentially, let's get through this so I can get paid, versus like really rocking out because it's something you created.
Exactly. Yeah. Come on.
That's fine.
So talk about some of the challenges you guys face in being heard as an indie band out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it has to do with like being on playlists now.
Mm-hmm.
Or like getting on editorial Spotify playlists and stuff like that.
Y'all are on mine, by the way, just so you know. Yeah.
Thank you. But also like social media is basically like it's a must for musicians nowadays, and it kind of sucks because I don't enjoy it, and I'm always scrambling to find something to post or whatever to promote the music, and I just wish it was more of a natural kind of thing, but that's the age we live in now, so that's the frustrating part of this.
I feel like we're all kind of old souls in a lot of ways, and I feel like we just not older than that.
His memory is not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be. I don't even remember. No, but I don't know. I feel like there's a game to be played, and I feel especially kind of when we started getting more serious, that was a game we were very uncomfortable playing. Like the idea of
the shameless self-promotion, like endless consistency of that, and it's sometimes difficult to do if you're.
Yeah, I had a mentor tell me, a very famous musician tell me that playing the music is the easiest part, and he told me that over 20 years ago, and it still rings true. with all this extra shit.
Everything else. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just social media is an unfortunate evil of today's, especially when you're indie. But like the oversaturation of the market is just so ridiculous. So it's hard to get heard, and even when you're different and unique and special like you guys are, man, putting that work in doesn't matter if it's algorithm based, right? So like, unless a bunch of people hear and see it all at the same time and engage with it, it's really not going to matter. How unique or special you are, just because of the oversaturation. And that sucks about today. It truly does. Yeah. And that's why, like, being on the road and being heard and the networking and stuff that you guys are doing is really important, no matter where you are. You know what I mean? Because somebody like me, I'm not anything, but I heard you guys all the way down here in Texas. So I know people are hearing y'all outside of your circle.
And our mentors said something to a similar effect. It's like, it doesn't matter how good your stuff is. It doesn't matter if no one sees it. Like, obviously making art is a separate thing, but if you want to make this your career and kind of have a future, playing music, you have to get in front of people. And the way to get in front of people nowadays is online with social media. So I think it's something we've been slowly getting better at and, trying to develop just because, we have to. But definitely a little bit.
It's so easy to make it now too, and what I mean by that is make the music. Like, making the music is so easy now, right? Like, you can make professional sounding EPs and records in a bathroom nowadays. I mean, truly, you can. I've seen it happen. So you have so much of that that's out there on Spotify and the different streaming platforms. Like, how are you supposed to be heard? And that's why, like, it's shifting and transitioning to the playlist era, which I think is dumb, by the way. I really do, because, like, people are getting paid to add songs to playlists, which is just weird to me, man. Like, so weird.
Yeah, I agree.
But I guess it's not too far from, radio stations getting paid to promote and play songs, too. So
everyone's just making money.
So anyway, the moral of the story out there, guys, is if you're listening to this and you're a new fan of your mom, make sure you are spinning your mom everywhere.
Spin me around.
All right.